Okay, for this explainer, I want you to think of yourself as an architect. We're going to explore the hidden blueprint behind pretty much every successful group project you can imagine, from launching a startup to, well, running a country. So, grab your hard hat, let's get into it.
You've seen this happen, right? One team just knocks it out of the park with some amazing project, while another team, with just as much talent, completely flames out. So what is it? What's that secret ingredient that separates a huge success from a total failure? Well, the answer isn't just about having the smartest people in the room. It's really about how those people are organized. I mean, you could have a team of geniuses, but without a clear plan, without a solid design to guide them, it's all going to fall apart. It really is all about the blueprint.
So, let's start with our first section, the architecture of achievement. Now, the master architect here, the designer of this whole blueprint for success, it has a name you're going to know. It's administration. Yep, administration. Now, hold on before your eyes glaze over. Let's unpack what that actually means.
I know. You hear that word and you think paperwork, red tape, bureaucracy, right? But the real definition is so much more dynamic than that. It's both an art and a science. It's the organized way that any group, big or small, takes its resources, its people, its money, its stuff, and actually turns them into something real.
Okay, on to our second section. Every single great building has to start with a rock-solid foundation. And in this architecture of achievement we're talking about, that foundation has a name: coordination. This is the first and honestly the most critical piece of the puzzle.
And the stakes couldn't be higher. Without that fundamental coordination, everything just falls apart. It's literally the difference between a symphony orchestra and a bunch of people just making noise. You get people working against each other, resources get wasted, and the whole project just crumbles.
So how do we build this foundation? Well, it really just boils down to a simple three-step process. First, you have to organize all the tasks that need doing. Next, you assign who is responsible for what. And finally, you have to keep an eye on things. You monitor the progress. It sounds simple, but it is so powerful, and it's absolutely essential.
All right, let's get to section 3. So, our foundation of coordination is set. Now we can get to the actual blueprint. This is the part that gives the whole project its shape, its direction, and it's all built on a framework of decisions and rules. I love this slide because it just nails it. Think of administration as the bridge. So many of us have a vision, right? We know what we want to do. But administration is the how. It's the thing that takes a brilliant idea and builds the practical, step-by-step road to make it happen.
And just to be super clear, this is not some robotic paint-by-numbers thing. Turning a big vision into actual results, that's a deeply human process. It takes good judgment to make the tough calls, it takes foresight to see what's around the corner, and it takes real leadership to get everyone on board and moving in the same direction.
Which brings us to section 4. Okay, so we've got a solid foundation and a clear blueprint. But buildings have to withstand storms, the ground shifts. So how do we make sure our structure can actually stand the test of time? How do we make sure it's built to last?
Turns out there are two key pillars that hold the whole thing up long term. First is accountability. That means checking in, making sure the work is getting done right and that people are sticking to the plan. And second, and this one is so important, is adaptability. The world is always changing, right? A rigid structure will just crack under pressure. A great one knows how to bend and evolve. And now for our final section. You might be listening to all this and thinking, okay, this sounds pretty high level, like for a big company or a government. But these principles, they're not just for skyscrapers. The real beauty of this blueprint is that it's an everyday blueprint. It applies everywhere, including your own life.
And this really drives that point home. I mean, obviously we see this kind of organization in government and in business, but look at that third bar, your household. The exact same principles are at play when you're managing a family budget or planning meals for the week or just coordinating everyone's schedules. It is a fundamentally human thing.
And that's really what this all comes down to. Administration isn't some boring business term. It's the backbone of organized life. It's what gives us order when things are chaotic. It gives us direction when we're confused. And it makes sure that when we work together, we actually create something that matters.
So here's what I want you to leave with. These principles, this way of thinking like an architect, it isn't just for CEOs or project managers. These are tools for all of us, which means you, in your community, with your family, at your job, you are an architect. You're constantly building things with other people. So the only question is, what are you building?